tonight as airstrikes continue and thousands flee the combat zone.
Gaza underground is, as you probably heard, 500 kilometers worth of tunnels.
Hamas uses their expansive underground tunnel system to spread terror and fight back. Plus, a massive pro-Israel march is headed to the nation's capital. We'll break down the details. And CBN serves those who serve America.
There's so many happy people over here. It's really good to be here.
All this and more tonight on Faith Nation. Thousands of Palestinians flee Gaza City's main hospital after a series of airstrikes, and Israel announces a window of safe passage. Good evening in Washington, I'm Jenna Browder. Israeli Defense Forces opened up a 6-hour window today for humanitarian evacuations out of northern Gaza. The humanitarian pauses come as more international leaders condemn the intensifying violence in Gaza. The United States has encouraged Israel to do more to protect Palestinian civilians, and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed the concerns at a diplomatic meeting in India today.
Far too many Palestinians have been killed. Far too many have suffered these past weeks. And we want to do everything possible to prevent harm to them and to maximize the assistance that gets to them. To that end, we'll be continuing to discuss with Israel concrete steps that can be taken to advance these objectives. We'll continue to focus relentlessly on getting our hostages home.
More than 11,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told border mayors near Gaza that the IDF would remain in control of Gaza after the war. This after U.S. officials suggested an international force would oversee Gaza for an interim period when the fighting ends. It's been dubbed the Gaza Metro. The intricate web of deadly terror tunnels buried deep beneath the Gaza Strip runs for hundreds of miles. In the latest phase of the war on Hamas, an elite IDF unit is methodically destroying this underground network piece by piece. George Thomas reports from southern Israel.
Israel says the noose around Hamas in Gaza City is tightening.
Our activities are hitting at the heart of Hamas capabilities. We eliminated dozens of commanders. We blocked many tunnels, and we are hitting the enemy hard.
48 hours after breaching city walls, IDF soldiers like High Mailspin are now targeting the extensive network of terror tunnels deep beneath the surface, dubbed the Gaza Metro.
Metro is a nickname used by Israel of the underground Gaza. There's Gaza on top, and there's Gaza underground.
Mailspin, who has served almost 20 years in the Israeli army, was called up a month ago to take part in the military operations in the Gaza Strip. Today, he is right in the thick of it, focusing on hundreds of miles of those tunnels. Mailspin is part of the IDF's elite Special Operations Yahalom unit that's in charge of demolishing Hamas's tunnel networks.
Gaza underground is, as you probably heard, 500 kilometers worth of tunnels. What you really have is various kinds. You've got the attack tunnels. Then you have tunnels that are for supplies and for weapons and for caches and for command centers. Then you have small tunnels that are about, let's just say, as wide as I can stretch my hands, and they, like, say this wide, and then you have in there just to run troops through.
The IDF releasing several videos showing its troops blowing up tunnel entrances and various shafts, some located near amusement parks like this one, while others, like this attack tunnel, discovered on the first floor of an apartment building.
The route passed through a residential neighborhood, through civilian houses, right through the living room of a house.
Each tunnel discovery, some located near mosques, hospitals, schools, and churches, coming chock full with weapons like mortars, guns, grenades, RPGs, mines, and more.
Now, all the systems aren't just a straight line. You have secret rooms, doors. You have so many things that you just got to be careful of.
This map showing a high concentration of tunnels in the north and south, with a few in the middle of the Gaza Strip. And now, as IDF forces push deeper into the city, Mail Spin, an Israeli-American Christian, is asking people around the world to continue praying for their military operations.
Pray that we'll have that supernatural wisdom. Where are these tunnels? Where is the threat going to come from? And they're tricky. They're tricky people, the Hamas. They're using trickery sometimes. It's not like fighting guerrilla warfare. They're like guerrilla warfare times 2.0.
George Thomas, CBN News, Southern Israel.
Thank you, George. Back here at home, a rallying cry for the Jewish community. It's called the March for Israel, and it's happening Tuesday in the nation's capital. Washington correspondent Hillary Powell is digging into the march. Hillary, it's expected to be a big event.
It's right, Jenna. People are expected to show up in really strong numbers, and participants are calling for the unequivocal return of the estimated 240 hostages Hamas terrorists have been holding since October 7th. This as President Joe Biden is pressing Israel for a multi-day stoppage in the fighting in a bid to release those hostages. Bring them home. Bring them home. The chant, "Bring them home," rang through this California rally last month and will be multiplied at Tuesday's march, calling for the safe return of all hostages still held by Hamas terrorists. Organizers hope U.S. President Joe Biden continues to negotiate following his push for Israel to agree to 4-hour daily humanitarian pauses in its effort to end Hamas. The president hopes this facilitates hostage releases.
The message to the families of the hostages in Gaza, we're not going to stop till we get them out.
Organized in part by the Jewish Federations of North America, the march aims to combat a disturbing increase in anti-Semitism since the terror attacks. Former U.S. Ambassador David Friedman telling CBN why a large turnout would send a strong message.
I think what's important is not what's said at the rally. What's important is how many people show up. This is a numbers game. You know, people will take notice if there's a large crowd.
Earlier this month, pro-Palestinian supporters also marched in D.C., calling for a ceasefire. The White House condemns a rise of both Islamophobia and anti-Semitism in America. At University of Connecticut Hillel, Jewish students say they're targeted.
We've definitely seen Jewish students being of target, whether in classrooms, verbally, and at some points physically being hurt, but also a lot on social media.
Hundreds of students are using prayer rallies to fight anti-Semitism on college campuses, and they plan to bring that to Washington as well.
So I think our hope is that we would be the hope to the Jewish brothers and sisters, showing them that every single person is created in the image of God. We are inherently image bearers, whether we share faith or not.
Rally participants will also show their support for Congress because Congress has been backing Israel. Now, this is also a sobering time for Jews around the world. This week marks the tragic 85th anniversary of Kristallnacht. That's the night of broken glass. Now, in 1938, Nazis terrorized Jews in Germany and Austria. Just another reminder of why hate cannot stand.
All right, indeed. Hillary, thank you very much. William Daroff is the CEO of the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, and he joins us now for more. William, welcome. Great to have you with us in studio.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here, Jenna.
Great to have you. So this march is not just for the Jewish community. It's for anybody who stands with Israel. Talk about why it is so important to show this solidarity.
Absolutely. We anticipate there will be tens and tens of thousands of people who will come to the National Mall here in Washington, America's front yard, on Tuesday, November 14th at 1 o'clock. We expect that there will be many, many Jews. There will be many, many of our allies, including in the Christian community, who will be joining us. And the focus of the march is to focus on support for Israel during its fight against the Hamas terrorist army. It is to march to combat anti-Semitism, the amazingly awful rise, the tsunami of anti-Semitic Jew hatred across America is something we're standing up against. And then we're also marching for the hostages, for the 240 hostages, innocents who are being held by the Hamas terrorist army in Gaza as we speak right now.
Yeah. Just last week we saw a massive pro-Palestinian march here in Washington, and a man was killed in California at another protest. Are there concerns about, a counter-protest on Tuesday?
So I think in general, we are concerned about these protests around the country. And a lot of what we are doing with this event on Tuesday is to show the world, to show America, to show Congress, and to show the White House that the vast, vast majority of Americans stand with Israel and not with these Hamas sympathizers who are dressing like terrorists and minimizing and rationalizing the terror that has befallen Israel and the innocent civilians who are there. We, as it relates to security, we have been in constant contact with federal law enforcement, local law enforcement. There will be many, many metal detectors and literally hundreds of police and security guards who will be present. And we encourage everyone to come, all of your viewers to come to the National Mall, 12th Street between Independence and Constitution. 1 o'clock is when we start. There's a pre-program that starts at 11:30 in the morning. We would love to have everyone come and to join us in solidarity. This is a solidarity among all Americans to show that we stand with Israel. And regardless of what you might see from these Hamas sympathizers who are out there, that's not where America is. That's not where Congress is. That's not where the president is. We know where it is, and we're going to show it loud and clear on Tuesday afternoon, and we'd love to have you and your viewers come join us.
And William, for anybody who can't be there in Washington on Tuesday, is there a way for them to support?
There will be some sort of live stream. We don't have the specifics on that as well. With the danger of mentioning a competitor, C-SPAN, we believe, will be competing. Not competing, they'll be competing, but they'll also be showing the event as well. But we really want people to come. This is the time to stand up, to be counted, and to say, I stand with Israel, I stand with the hostages, and I stand against anti-Semitism.
All right, once again, it's the March for Israel happening Tuesday in Washington. William, it's great to have you. The best to you and this event.
Thank you very much. We very much encourage all of our Christian brothers and sisters to join us and stand in solidarity with us. So thank you.
Absolutely. And when we come back, a city leader rebuilding the city of Ferguson, Missouri, relying on the power of faith.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel, now available at cbnradio.com.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Welcome back. This week's election showed the power of women voters. Though they outpaced men in voter turnout, they are unprecedented in public office. John Jessup introduces us to one historic leader in Missouri who's mixing the spiritual and the political to help rebuild the city of Ferguson.
During the unrest of 2014, the Ferguson Police Department symbolized the anger and frustration with what was seen as heavy-handed policing, not just here locally, but on the national level as well. While the city has acknowledged its past failures and is making changes to become more community-oriented, a few blocks away, other changes are being made.
Hello, Barbara. This is Mayor Ella Jones.
Ella Jones spends long hours in City Hall and racks up a lot of mileage outside these walls, both in her pickup or on her feet. Behind her approachability lies an analytical mind, a trained chemist with a clear sense of style, solidified as a sales director for Mary Kay. Then her career path took a turn in 2014. Was Michael Brown's death part of the reason why you decided to run for office?
It was the only reason.
First elected to city council, then in 2020.
History tonight in Ferguson as the city's first black and first female mayor was sworn in.
She took the helm as the city's top elected official, promising to move Ferguson forward after the uproar over the fatal police shooting of Brown, an unarmed black teen, a reality she compares to being in a pressure cooker.
If you put that top on that pressure cooker and it's not fastened the way it's supposed to, and when that heat hit it, it's gonna splatter. And you cannot put all of that back in the pot. And it takes you time to clean the mess up that's on the wall. The same analogy. We're still working on it.
In an already tense situation, we reported on the ground in Ferguson when the city erupted in chaos and traveled back this past summer to track the progress. At King of Soul Restaurant, you get the sense of coming home. The family-owned business opened during the height of the pandemic in 2020.
Minus the bad publicity, Ferguson is thriving. Not only do we own 2 businesses in Ferguson, my children go to school up the street in Ferguson, so great place to live, great place to own a business.
Smiles and laughter here now replace the rioting. Still, there are permanent reminders of the pain. This bronze plaque replaced the makeshift memorial for Michael Brown at the site where he drew his last breath. His death didn't just spark national protests and leave a community outraged and grief-stricken. It served as a wake-up call for the nation to have difficult and necessary conversations, and served as a call to action for both the city of Ferguson and the family of Mike Brown. We spoke with Mike Brown Sr. during the city's Unity celebration. While he still mourns his son, Brown appreciates the attempt to rebuild community.
It plays a part on both sides. It's the community and the police department, you know. Somebody gonna have to meet in the middle, you know, but we got to start somewhere.
For the past 9 years, the police department's teamed up with businesses and volunteers to fry food and give away free backpacks to local kids at the start of the school year. And families line up for food, fun, fellowship.
Father, that everyone here realize that this is for unity, together, and not apart.
And faith, with prayer tents to offer spiritual support for parents and their kids. The mayor came up with the idea in the wake of Brown's death and protests. As an AME church pastor, she tells CBN News she doesn't mind fusing politics with a little bit of faith.
When I first took the seat back in 2015, I said, I don't know anything about government, but I know how to pastor people. And I started doing pastoral care.
Area churches see and feel a spiritual significance in the message of Unity Weekend.
You know, heaven's every race, tribe, color, and tongue. And if we can't get along here, heaven's going to be harder. You know, and so this is heaven practice. We're trying to do now what's going to happen for eternity in heaven.
After winning a second term this year, Jones plans to lean on her pastoral skills as she listens and visits her constituents, young and old alike. The mayor says she's also picked up a few valuable political lessons.
In this business, I've learned you don't have any permanent enemies, no permanent friends, just permanent interests. And if you could just work on the interests and leave all the emotions and all of the pettiness out of it and work on the interests of the people, you'll be successful at what you do.
As part of the new leadership reflecting the city's 70% black population, Mayor Jones says she's proud to have helped create Ferguson's first ever comprehensive plan and pledges to resolve issues with the city's police department by next year. About a decade later, some businesses have rebuilt. Others, like King of Soul Restaurant, are investing in the future of Ferguson with new shops. Still others never reopen, and that includes the Quick Trip that burned down at the site behind me. In its place, the Ferguson Community Empowerment Center, which houses the Urban League and the Salvation Army, where instead of filling up on gas, the goal is to fuel hope with practical ways of helping families and the community heal, grow, and thrive. In Ferguson, Missouri, I'm John Jessup, CBN News.
Thank you, John. Well, 1 week until a potential government shutdown. Can House Republicans come together to push a plan through?
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel. Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
To make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone.
I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com to get your copy today.
With growing tension over anti-Semitic and pro-Hamas sentiment on campus, the president of Harvard is now condemning a common slogan saying, quote, "Our community must understand that phrases such as 'from the river to the sea' bear specific historical meanings that to a great many people imply the eradication of Jews from Israel and engender both pain and existential fears within our Jewish community. I condemn this phrase and any similarly hurtful phrases." Here in D.C., lawmakers are running out of time to come to an agreement to keep the government open. In 1 week, the current stopgap measure that's funding the government will run out. New House Speaker Mike Johnson this week laid out a plan, but it's not clear if any will gain enough traction to make it through the GOP-controlled House. Getting something passed will be a big test for Johnson. You might recall his predecessor, Kevin McCarthy, was ousted due to his work to avoid a shutdown. Helping the home front still ahead on Faith Nation.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Heavenly Father, we do thank you for the work of your Spirit, Lord God, with this movement of getting the Bible,
yes,
Lord, into public schools.
Watch The Prayer Link. Tuesday morning at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
Finally tonight, as America observes this Veterans Day, CBN's Helping the Homefront is celebrating its 10th anniversary with a free family fun day. CBN News correspondent Mark Martin brings us the highlights.
Helping the Homefront organizers transformed the campus of Regent University into a fun place for all ages.
What do you want to do?
Play at bouncy houses. Bouncy houses.
Elements of this Military Family Appreciation Day ranged from inflatables, rides, and food to music and even an 8K run.
The primary mission of CBN's Helping the Homefront is to financially assist churches and ministries so they can then better support military families. Today, the goal was all about making sure those families have a good time, free of charge.
The one thing that we really want the families to know is that we love them. We appreciate their service. You really do not know how much families struggle in the military, especially when they've got one that's deployed, they've got children that are missing family, they have challenges just like the rest of us, but the economy has affected everyone.
Our week is consumed every day with a lot of seriousness and concentration on what is going on in the world. And to be able to come here on the weekend and just concentrate on our families, love on our families, and just be able to take a moment of just peace and relaxation and have a little bit of fun, it makes our stress a little bit easier during the week.
Lieutenant Colonel Joey Orr and his family just moved here.
It's been a busy few decades, so it's nice to take a pause, focus on the things that matter most, the family, and get out and enjoy that to the maximum ability.
Family time is so scarce, especially right now, and so for us to have an organized event that we can go to, that we don't have to dig into our pockets and our purses, something here for all of us, so we feel very much appreciated.
CBN News also caught up with other military personnel enjoying the day.
There's so many happy people over here. It's really good to be here. It's very fun.
It's having a nice time and to see people coming together and kids and grandkids out and the family members just having a good time, and I really appreciate it that we're celebrating the military.
CBN representatives also passed out resources, including the Warfighter's Study Bible.
There is a lot that's hanging on the shoulders of our military families, and even talking with some here, I know that there are units that are waiting to be deployed. There are others that are already deployed. And you know what, there's a fear to that as well. And what we want them to know is Jesus loves them. We're praying for them. We want to be here for them. We just really want to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
And a family fun day is a great way to do that. Mark Martin, CBN News, Virginia Beach.
And that's great to see, and we want to thank all of our veterans this day. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope you have a great evening and a weekend.